Distance learning during COVID was interesting. It was hard, but it seemed to sprinkle miracle grow on the tech skills of teachers. Teachers tried a lot of new tech tools. Some of them were great, some of them were not. Additionally, teachers got to know a lot of tech tools like Google Meet and Microsoft Teams in a much deeper way.
There was so much uncertainty during those times, yet one thing remained constant. Teachers did everything they could to help their students, to empower them, to engage them, to address their learning needs.
And so, in an attempt to help you during what looks to be another interesting fall, we want to make sure that you have all of the tools you need from Google or Microsoft.
We hope that our presentation will be engaging and inspiring and helpful to make your classroom fun and exciting.
Hello, and we're ready now to show you those 16 tools that you'll want to look at when working with English learners.
And we would like to start with Google. Both Michelle and I are Google certified trainers, and we, of course, love and use Google apps and tools all the time. Google, in addition to the amazing tools which are absolutely free for educators, Google offers several programs that anyone can participate in. You can become a Google level 1 or level 2 trainer. You can become a Google trainer or an innovator. And just recently they added a new program to their list, and it's called a new certified coach program.
I love Google. We also love Microsoft. Microsoft, their motto is empowering others, and their mission is to empower every person and every organization on the planet to achieve more. And Irina and I really give kudos to Microsoft for creating so many amazing accessibility tools, especially Immersive Reader, which we're going to talk about a lot today. One of the things that you might not know is Microsoft is free for teachers and students. A lot of people think Microsoft is expensive, but no, it's free. And just like Google, Microsoft does offer programs for teacher. They offer the Expert Certified Educator program, and they also offer the Technology Literacy for Educators certification program.
Mm-hmm. We believe that educators shouldn't feel the need to use Google or Microsoft. Teachers should look at both platforms and then decide which one is best for them and their students, because both offer an array of tools with fantastic supports, but the supports are different. And that's what Michelle and I are going to focus on. We want to make sure that you understand the difference between the platforms and then make the right decision.
All right, so first thing we're going to look at is word processing. So word processing has come a long way since Irina and I learned to use typewriters. I learned to use a typewriter in Wisconsin. Where did you?
Russia. In Russia. Back in Russia.
All right. We both gave away our age. All right. But it's come a long way, and word processing allows students to create documents, obviously collaborate on those written texts, but also with word processing, we can now import images and shapes. We can include citations. Oh my goodness, I wish I had had that when I did my undergrad easily, and those footnotes. So typewriters can't do any of that. Word processing has really changed the game and upped the level of collaboration that we now have. So the first one we're going to look at is Google Docs. And Google Docs is pretty amazing. So you can translate things in Google Docs in up to 110 different languages. So let me give you a little tour of Google Docs. So my favorite tool is right here under Tools. If you go to voice typing, you get this little microphone over here. And notice this drop-down arrow. This allows you to change the languages. And as we just told you, there are 110 of them there. And so you click on the microphone and speak, and whatever you say will appear on the screen. This tool is fantastic for busy teachers who want to multitask. It's also great for littles who don't have maybe the fine motor skills to work on a keyboard. And it's also great for new English learners who want to speak in their native language. So how many times have you had a story or a student that maybe wants to tell you his or her story, but they aren't ready to do it in English just yet? You could use this drop-down menu and allow the student to share his or her story in another language. Okay, so once you get that text, you can then go to Tools and then click Translate Document. So you find whatever language you want it to go into. I think Amharic is pretty to look at. I've had some students from Ethiopia. Have you?
No, I have not.
And there it is. So we have our original copy and our translated copy. So Google Docs is pretty darn great. And you can also use navigation commands in Google Docs. So another cool thing you can do is say, space, new line, go to the end of the paragraph. You can do all of those commands, period, capital letter, and it will do all of that in English. And then another cool thing about Google is that there are lots of accessibility settings. You can turn on a screen reader. You can get some read aloud tools. There are lots of things embedded, but you're going to have to download some software. And we're not going to show you that today because depending on your computer, the software is going to be different. But just Google accessibility tools, and then you can add that. And we think really every teacher should have that. All right, so Irina is going to show us, we're going to turn off. I love live. You can have fun stuff like that. And Irina is going to take us on a whirl of Microsoft Word.
Yes, Microsoft Word has some amazing features, and some of them are very similar to Google Docs. For example, when you go to your home page right here, you will see a dictate feature right here. And just like voice typing, it allows you to select different languages, speak, and then it will type you words in that language right here on the screen. Another amazing feature is Immersive Reader, and this is our favorite one. So once you have a text typed on the screen, you go to View Immersive Reader.
Sometimes it takes a second.
Yes, and here we are. We're right there.
I love to read.
Immersive Reader will read aloud to your students. If you don't like this particular voice, you can, there we go, change to a female voice. You can change voice speed too. Let's try this voice.
I love to read.
There we go. Look what else Immersive Reader does. You can change text size, you can change font or background. Let's make it this color.
Irina, why would you want to change the background?
Sometimes it's easier to see the words this way. So, and actually, quite often I change my background when I'm on Twitter or I use my email. I switch to the darker mode. It's easier for my eyes. It's just one reason why we would want to change that. So what else it does, you can turn on this particular feature, parts of speech, and then Immersive Reader will break your words into syllables, but it will also highlight nouns, verbs, adjectives, adverbs, and this part is absolutely amazing. It can, of course, do the line focus, but it has a picture dictionary. And right now, this one is preset to Russian, so it will read this word for you in English.
Love.
But it will also read it to you in Russian. Well, I speak Russian, so surprise, surprise, it was set for Russian. And you see translate, word by word or the entire document into Russian. Yeah, our document is only one line, but here we go. Here is a sentence. This particular sentence, "Я люблю читать," is in Russian. And you can go back and forth between the original document and your translated version. So let's go back to our page. So again, immersive reader is here, but Microsoft Word has additional features that are very similar to Google Docs. It will translate your document into different languages, and it has an amazing editor. And what the editor does, it actually proofreads in multiple languages, and it also will offer rewriting suggestions for you. So you see, you can set your proofreading language here. You can translate the selection. So you just right click on the word and here we go. So Microsoft is, again, amazing, and it's worth your time to explore it and use it with your students.
So it's interesting. Irina and I worked together for years, and Irina moved to a new office, and you are using Microsoft pretty much exclusively now?
I still use both,
Okay.
but I do use Microsoft. Yeah.
More. And so, and my office, the district I work for, we're pretty much exclusively Google, except for email. So it's fun that Irina's been able to experiment more with Microsoft. So she's our in-house Microsoft expert. All right. So let me go over here. And we talked to you about word processing. So now we want to talk about presentations. So presentations are, wow. I mean, this was kind of an unsung hero of distance learning, right? A lot of us use presentation software to house our remote learning packages or lessons for the week. And you can do so much more. So, when you're using this, you can include, you can use this to make ebooks, you can do GIFs, you can do stop animation, you can make beautiful graphics. There's so much that you can do. Remember we taught that Google Slides class about a year ago? We taught people how to make a simple app.
Mm-hmm.
So you can do so much in presentation software. So we're going to show you the ins and outs of Microsoft PowerPoint. And oh my gosh, there's a lot here. So I'm going to let Irina take it away and show us what's in Microsoft.
Yes, Microsoft, again, is absolutely amazing. And yes, I'm a Google certified trainer, but I use Microsoft. Again, it just depends on what features you want to use. And then I decide, is it Microsoft or is it Google Slides? And here we go. We need to remember here that Microsoft has an online version, which is Office 365, and there is also a desktop version. And at this time, some features that are present in Office 365 PowerPoint are not present on your desktop version. So you would have to go back and forth or decide what you want, and then select either Office 365 or desktop. Now, for this particular presentation, I am using the Office 365 PowerPoint, and as you can see, I'm in the slideshow. And what I can do here is I can present from beginning. I can present from current slide, which is available on everywhere pretty much. But look what we have here now, and this is very recent. You can actually present live, and you can present live to only people in your organization or to anyone in the world. And you can select the subtitles you're going to use. Maybe your spoken language is English US, but maybe your subtitle language is different. Maybe you want your subtitles to be in, I don't know, let's speak Spanish. The interesting part here that you can actually move your subtitles to the bottom or top of the page and below or above the slide. It's up to you. So what else is here? Animation, Now you can actually include 3D animation here. And this is an example that I actually use this one. It's a preset animation you add and it will move, rotate 360 degrees. You can insert a lot of things. You can insert pictures, shapes, and yes, icons. You do not have to have an add-on. It's already here. All these icons are free and they make your presentation so much better.
I love that, all those icons.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm curious about Rehearse with Coach. So I've played with that a little bit. Have you played with that, Irina?
Yes. You want to talk about it?
So Rehearse with Coach is kind of cool. If you click here, and we use this a lot. And then one day I checked, it wasn't working. So I hope it's back. But Rehearse with Coach is pretty cool because you can actually record yourself. I'm going to click Start Rehearsing. And you can start talking and doing your presentation. And then you say, look, it just prompted me. I said too many ums. And I'm going to end that. I'm going to hit escape. And when I finish, it will send me a report. And look at this awesome report. It tells me how quickly I spoke. It talked about my word speed, pitch, variation, and then it did scold me for using too many filler words like and I did that on purpose, but so this is very cool. I think this one would be an awesome thing for English learners to use to practice presentations they need to do. I'm also wondering about using it with younger students for maybe fluency practice, because then it would give us pacing and then tell us how they were doing.
Absolutely. It's a great idea. And another thing that you can do, but you would have to go to the desktop version of PowerPoint, which we're not going to do it right now, but we want to mention it to you that if you're in the desktop version, you can actually record your presentation. You do not have to use Loom, and Michelle and I are using Loom right now, or Screencastify. It's all there. You will just click record your presentation and it will give you different options. You can record from current slide from the beginning, and then you can review your presentation. And if you don't like it, you can start over again. So PowerPoint, again, has amazing features, and we highly recommend for you to explore both the desktop version and the Office 365 version of the PowerPoint app.
So I like to say that, and I've stolen this from someone, I don't know where I heard this, that really Microsoft PowerPoint is the Cadillac and Google Slides is kind of the Camry, right? I enjoy a Camry. Sometimes it's very comfortable, user-friendly. We're all familiar with it. So that's where Google Slides can come in. And I mean, if you want all those advanced features, like if you want to present live, I mean, I think that would be an awesome feature, because then you wouldn't need something like Nearpod or Pear Deck. You could just have students log in and do live, go live with it, or you want to record, everything's there. And I love how Irina showed us those icons, because in Google Slides, you're going to have to add those in or pull those. So that's very cool. So let me give you a tour of Google Slides and some of my favorite features here. So Google Slides, you could do some of the voice commands, right? You can do those in there, and it does have dictation in 110 languages, but no, voice commands are not available. Sorry, they're only available in docs. And there are the accessibility settings that are there. So all of that is available. You'd have to download that. One of my favorite things about Google Slides is the live captioning, which is available in PowerPoint as well. But let me show you how easy this is to use in Google Slides. So when you present, you just go down here to this captions button, and then you turn it on, and then you can actually move it. And yep, I like to move it to the top, and I always make it as large as possible so that students can really see that. And so that's a really cool thing I like. Another tool I like is called the Q&A. So if you click on Q&A, it will actually make your slides interactive. So Q&A, what it'll let you do is create some audience tools. So what you can do is set up this link, share this with the audience, and then as you're presenting, they can go to that link and they can leave questions for you. They can ask you things. So I turned that off. I'm not sure. I've never done titles, and oops, there we go. And so there you go. There's the link. And so the audience can go there and type in questions, comments, and then as you're presenting, you can click on this link and then you can see who's asking questions. So that'd be cool. You could have a back channel, someone watching that, or you could go to that at the end. If you're kind of doing a one-person presentation, I like to visit this at the end. So that's something really cool about Google Slides. Again, there are lots of features in Google Slides that are in PowerPoint, but you need to go into the menu to do that, in that add-on menu. Okay, and I'm gonna drive back here and talk about forms.
Yes, so Michelle and I are going to share the differences between two different types of forms, Google Forms and Microsoft Forms. And Michelle is going to start with Google Forms.
All right, so Google Forms, super easy to use. And we've all been using this for a few years now. And one of my favorite things to do in Google Forms is to go ahead and add some of those add-ons. And we'll talk about those in a minute, but you can decide if you want to do just a general, survey. You can also do quizzes. One of the things I like about Google is that if you're doing it on a Chromebook, you can actually lock the Chromebook so the kids can't open another tab to check out the answer. But I think if we write really good questions, they're not going to want to do that, right? So have a deeper question and that won't happen. But that's how you would turn on locked mode. One thing I would suggest, don't turn on locked mode for adults in a training if they don't have Chromebooks, because that only works on Chromebooks and they all get locked out. We learned that the hard way, didn't we? Mm-hmm. So here's the add-on. So this is a very cool thing. You can actually customize Google Forms with some of these tools. So one that I really like is Choice Eliminator. This one will allow you to make like a drop down where people can check things out. Like, let's say you're having a potluck and you want to have people like sign up to bring a salad or whatever and it goes away. Or if you have a library, people want to check out books, I would use that one. And then form confirmation emails is another favorite of mine. This is where you can be notified if someone fills out your form and they can get a notification. So you can send like a really nice note, like, thank you for doing this, make sure you do this. I really like that one a lot. Google Forms is pretty basic, pretty easy to use. You can create 9 types of questions. So when you go over here and you do this drop-down menu, you're going to see that there are 9 different types of questions, lots of accessibility there. The quizzes are only available in English. Okay. And so let's talk a little bit about Microsoft Forms. And I don't know if you want to go right to Microsoft or you want that?
Yeah, I will go to Microsoft. So yes, Microsoft Forms, as you can see, it's a little bit different icon. It's not purple. It's kind of pretty cream color. And a couple things that we want to make sure you know about Microsoft Forms. So here we are again, we are in Office 365 and we are in My Forms. If you are a Google level 1, level 2, if you're a Google certified trainer and you use Google Forms, you know that once you create a Google form, you can go into settings and easily change a form into a quiz. Well, it's not the same in Microsoft. So you really have to think what you're doing here. Are you creating a new form? Or are you creating a new quiz? Because once you start a new form and you change your mind and you decide, oh, I wanted to create a quiz instead, well, you'll have to start over again. So unfortunately, at this time, it is impossible to change one into another. So you kind of have to make your selection in advance. And once you do that, Once you create, let's for example, click on a quiz, we can create different questions. Let me say, what is the capital of Russia? I guess I'm all about Russia. No, I'm just kidding. And you can make it required, so just like Google has it. So a lot of features are the same, but look what happens when we click on preview, because that's what your students will see. And even though I didn't title the quiz, right here you see the icon of Immersive Reader, and this means that Immersive Reader will read this title to you students, and it will also translate it in multiple languages. So Immersive Reader is right here embedded into Microsoft Forms, and yes, it is right here again. So you students can actually listen to the questions being read aloud to them. So just like in Google, you can choose different themes, you can share it with people, and you can go to settings and select who can fill out the form and different forms. And here is right here, it's right here in Microsoft. You do not have to add on to like Google has. It's right here. It will send email receipt to respondents. You just need to click here. All right, so again, it's up to you which platform you would like to use. They're both amazing and differ a little bit in what they offer for English learners.
So, Irina, one of the things that I love about Microsoft Forms, I know you do too, is the languages that are available there. Google is going to be English only. And how many languages are in Microsoft?
I think it's 60 plus languages. Yes.
So that's awesome. And it takes a minute. The first time I created a form in Microsoft, it took me a couple of minutes to figure out how to do that. You do have to translate. It doesn't auto-translate the questions, or no, the responses. It'll do the questions. So you might need to watch a quick YouTube tutorial on how to do that. But the cool thing is when families take a Microsoft form, they get a drop-down menu at the top and they can pick their language before they fill it out.
Right. And another small difference between Microsoft and Google is that when you embed videos, Google allows only YouTube videos to be embedded, while Microsoft will let you embed YouTube videos, but also Microsoft Stream videos you can add to any questions. And you can you can pre-select if you want to start your video and a specific point in time, maybe not from the beginning, but maybe start at a 10-minute mark or so.
Very cool. Yeah, I've loved having the flexibility of both. And we talked about those form confirmations. Google has added more like that where they'll notify people of it, but I still think Microsoft is easier how it's embedded to do that. All right. So next, we definitely have to talk about video conferencing. I mean, a year ago, how many teachers were using this all the time? Not very many. So video conferencing was a game changer during distance learning for sure. It allowed us to have synchronous instruction that we wouldn't have been able to have otherwise, unless maybe we were using PowerPoint Live. But we could have office hours, we could tutor, we created a warm space where kids could talk to each other. I heard about teachers having virtual lunches with their students. You know, we had PLC meetings. Video conferencing was definitely a game changer. So Google and Microsoft, Google Meet and Microsoft Teams are two platforms, and Irina's going to talk us through both of those.
And both platforms are very similar. So it's up to you whichever you want to use, or it's up to your district. I know some districts are Microsoft districts, and then other districts go Google and use Google Meet. But no matter which platform you use, both will allow you to video record your meetings, and both have live captioning. So you can just turn on live captioning during meeting, and so students will be able to see what you're saying. Unfortunately, at this time, live captions are available in English only. And The probably one major difference between the two, between Teams and Google Meet, is that Microsoft Teams has immersive reader embedded in it, so which means that participants can hear some posts, chat, messages, and assignments. It can be read to them, which means it also can be translated to them into various languages.
And so the thing, and I don't know, Irina, you use Google Teams.
Google
I do
Teams.
not. I always use Google Meet. But the captions in Google Meet, one of the things that I didn't understand when I first started using it was that I thought when I turned on the captions, my students saw the captions. That is not true. Mm-hmm. If you want to see captions, you have to turn it on yourself. Mm-hmm. So one of the things I had to teach students the first day was to go to the right, there are 3 dots, click on captions. Do you know about Meet? Do they have to turn them on, or how that works?
I don't know for sure. I don't think so, but I don't know that part for sure. But with Google Meet, that's a very good point to, yes, make sure that students turn on their captions.
Okay. All right. So we have worked through some big tools, and now we're going to talk about extensions and apps that can support learning. So a lot of times we think about extensions being those things that teachers add to maybe create things, or maybe students have on their Chromebooks to make things more accessible. And then apps, I really think those are for the user, right? So you might see those on a Chromebook, on a phone, on an iPad, and the apps are things students are going to use very intimately themselves. But the extensions might be something that teachers use to sort of clean it up or make it more accessible for students. So we're going to jump over. We made an infographic of all these tools that we want you to check out on our website. And so I'm going to jump over here. We're going to kind of work off this infographic now, if that's okay. And it's pretty small. So let's see. All right. So we'll start with maybe those Chrome extensions to help with web readability. What do you think about that?
Yes, and of course, the first one you see here is immersive reader on websites. It seems like I've been talking about immersive reader this entire presentation, but it is absolutely amazing, and it is so helpful to our students. This particular one has exactly the same features as Microsoft Immersive Reader does, and it will read aloud to you students. It will color code words for them, show them nouns, adjectives, adverbs. It has the picture dictionary. It will translate words and sentences into different languages. So this is an awesome extension that you can add by going to Google Chrome Web Store, and then pretty much any website will be easily accessible to your students and parents. And then another one is Helperbird. This particular one was not created for English learners. It was created for students with dyslexia, but it's an amazing extension. And just like Immersive Reader, it will read. It has a reader mode. It will change font for you students. Increase word spacing. It has a magnifying glass if you need it. It will also translate words into different languages for you kids, and it has immersive reader embedded as well. And the third one we included, the third one is the one you're probably very familiar with. It's Mercury Reader. This is an extension that kind of makes websites clean and clear for you kids. So instead of having numerous ads on or pop-ups on the screen, it will remove everything and only keep the text, hyperlinks, and images.
Sweet. I really like, I'm a big fan of Mercury Reader, and you can see it up here on my toolbar. And the one next to it is called Print Friendly and PDF. I like that one a lot. I use them in different circumstances, but check out both of those, Mercury Reader and Print Friendly PDF. All right, so there's 2 apps that we want to mention, 2 apps or extensions we want to mention for reading. The first one is Rivet. This one I would use with younger students, and it's great because it really allows students to work on fluency and pronunciation. And there's an amazing multilingual bookstore. And as you can see from our infographic, there are books in English, Spanish, German, and Polish. Mm-hmm. Hey, I'm Polish. That's really exciting. And then pronounce. Pronounce is really cool. It reads aloud words, phrases, articles. This is a place where students can go to work on their pronunciation, and then they can hear that back so that they can think about how they're doing with pronunciation. So that's a really cool one. I was a former French teacher, and I think something like that would have been really cool for my students. Rita was a French teacher too.
Yes, yes. So, two additional Chrome extensions that we would like to share with you are all about writing, and we know that writing can be challenging for English learners. So we selected two that we like, and one is called Ginger. And what it does, it helps students with spelling and grammar. It allows them to select synonyms, and it's actually, you can create your own personal dictionaries, or your students can create personal and words, and it allows them, it gives them options, it rephrases text for them and gives them different options to select from. And unfortunately, at this time, it does not work with Google Docs, but otherwise, it's an amazing, amazing extension that will be very helpful for your kids. It's definitely worth trying. And one more extension, which I believe is also a website, it's not just an extension, it's called Lucidchart, and you and your students can have real-time collaboration and create different diagrams, graphics, timelines, and it's a great tool for English learners. And we know how graphic organizers can be helpful for English learners. So it's a great extension and website to visit and explore.
And we put all of this information in this beautiful infographic that was made using Easily. And Easily is one of our very favorite tools for making beautiful infographics, because we need a little help with things like that. So go ahead and check that out. And I'm noticing as I scroll through that the one tool we didn't mention was Google Jamboard. And this is a really cool one when you go back to video conferencing. This was a lifesaver for us in creating quick visuals, like a whiteboard. So I compare it a lot to Padlet. So check that one out, just jamboard.google.com. Very basic, but very simple, because students can collaborate there as well.
So we want to keep learning with you. So please check out our website, ELL 2.0.
And we create we create weekly resources for busy teachers like you. So go ahead and check out those tools at bit.ly ELL 2.0 for O, right?
Yes.
All right. Thank you for joining.
Thank you.